This was a gift from a friend of mine. And then this is where all the production happens. This table, most of the work is made at this table. And here is our kiln room. The small one, that's Jupiter. And this is Otis. And Otis is an elevator kiln. So when I get the kiln loaded, it gets lowered down over the work. We just slide them in. So they just get slid in like that. And then the kiln lowers down and fires. And then when it comes back up, we pull them out and we can do another round. Have X's and O's on them because after about 5 or 6 firings, we flip them so that they don't start to bow. Here's our slab roller. Everything that we do is made from slabs of clay. And this is kind of like a big pasta machine. And unlike many people, a lot of people are really impressed by this. We have an electric slab roller. So it just has a knob here and a safety. Instead of the big wheel that you have to turn, you have an electric slab roller. And that's was one of the things that's been a really worthwhile investment because we do production, we roll out a lot of slabs. Would you like to see me roll out a slab? I use a rolling pin just to kind of set this up. I'm just setting up so that it's kind of, it's got a little bit of an angle to it. And then it goes here. After I start rolling, I always remember to check and see if the thickness is set right, because you can't really change it once you start, but it's right. Got it right this time. We have this almost beautiful clay. We have a little crack here. Try as I might to push that together, that'll come back later, so we're gonna not cut out around that part. And I'm flattening it out a little bit because I'm gonna smooth one side. I smooth it before I even start working with it. So now, I'm going to do the scary part, which is I'm going to flip this over and it's stuck to the canvas. I always worry because if the canvas is really dry, sometimes it will fall off. So now I have a piece that's got texture on this side. This is our narrow oval form. All of the pieces that we make get made this way. We use a form, put it onto the clay. And what I usually do, we usually kind of fill up the whole area. It's about 35 pounds. In the cutout, you have to keep the knife straight up and down or you kind of get this funny edge. I've just got the knife trapped up against the form. So let's see, I think I can get one more of these out of this. That's 2 narrow ovals. As you can see, they're labeled, but after so many years, I don't really need to look at the writing. But sometimes the forms double too, like you can see the medium plate and the medium bowl come from the same size form. Slightly different process. All this scrap just gets collected and put in a barrel, and then we have a machine called a pug mill that we run it through, and it remixes the clay. So because if you have any kind of air bubbles in between it or something, you can have troubles. And it also has a little air compressor on it that sucks all the air out of it. So we don't have to deal very much with air bubbles. Normally patters have to wedge. We don't do very much wedging because we have the clay that we buy from Sheffield Pottery comes de-aired, and then we de-air all of our scrap. So the scrap, I'm just gonna put this in the barrel with the other scrap. Right here. It goes in the barrel and it stays wrapped up until we're ready to recondition it, and then it comes out and it goes through this little machine, which is clay scraps go in here and then they come out here. We have a little setup that so we can get the pugs out. So from here, we have what we call the weenie list, this is our weenie list right now. These are things that we need for galleries. So Pinch was on here. I think Pinch was right here recently. And so now I'm taking the canvas texture off of the backside. This is just a ceramic rib. It's a mud tool from Michael Sherrill, who's one of my favorite sculptors. He has a business now making potter tools, and these are the best ribs for smoothing clay. I just love them. They come in different softnesses, so the ones for the table are a little bit harder, and then the ones at the wheel are very flexible. So we have a stamp. This is how we sign with our little Kaleidoscope Pottery stamp. Here's the chamois. And actually, I just found a new been trying to use a bunch of different synthetic things, and I found this really good synthetic chamois that came from the eye doctor. So now I'm just taking off the rough edge. This is not as easy as it looks. When I first came here with my master's degree in ceramics, I was so intimidated, and I didn't know this process, and it took me weeks to perfect getting this edge just right. So now I'm going to turn these over. Production day, we just sort of cover one table with a round of pieces. And so like when we make plates, we make about 10 at a time. When we make platters, we make about 3 at a time. But we'll usually do 2 different sizes. So I'll do like a couple of the ovals and then maybe a couple round ones over on the other side of the table. This is the side that I smoothed over at the cutout table, but it usually picks up a little bit of texture. This is a light blocking shade. It doesn't have a lot of tooth like a canvas, but it still picks up a little. And I usually don't get it quite as smooth as I want it to be when I smooth it the first time. So this is sort of like the second for sure smoothing. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the edges here. Here. Once I've got the edges nice and smoothed, I'm ready to do some designing.